So tonight for Autonomy Quest, what we do for Autonomy Quest is simply give you guys a look into the autonomy community through the eyes of a graduate, a couple of graduates actually, one interviewing another. This time we have Renee Devereaux interviewing Bill Soul. Renee's a season 11 graduate, Bill is a season 12 graduate, and so uh, just basically they just run an interview and talk about autonomy, and hopefully you guys see it and you like what you see. So I'm James Cordiner, season 10 graduate. So thank you all for being here. Typically these things run about 60 to 90 minutes. And if Renee is ready, we can begin with
I would
Quest
just
for tonight.
first say that we teach this skill on autonomy because it's the key to meeting the others who have the answers to the questions you need to overcome your issues. So the interview skill translates into the sales skill, which is a problem solving skill set, not pushing, persuading, convincing, or conniving, but just learning how to make contact, listen, make a better plan, and understand with people. And then they move forward. So it's ethical sales and objective marketing in an ethical framework. And it starts with learning how to meet and greet people during the interview exercise, which also builds out the community. And it's a wonderful way to start off the course when they get started twice a year.
Brilliant point to add, Richard. And so at the end of this, when you see this exercise between the graduates, everyone that is here will have a chance to jump in and participate in another Q&A. So if Renee is here, I'll introduce Renee Devereaux as the host for tonight's Autonomy Quest.
Hello, James.
And then
I am
hello,
here.
Renee. And then
And-
we'll bring in Bill, of course, who will be being interviewed.
And if I may, I want to add to what Richard just said about interview skills, because I wasn't able to attend this screening, but I will. I have conflicts with, I had an interview that was posted a week or so ago, and I've been flooded with phone calls. So the interview skills that I'm learning, are certainly working for me. That interview was amazing for me, business wise. So anyway, I just thought I'd give that a plug. And I am here, and I see that Bill is here somewhere.
Yes, I'm right here.
Hi.
So,
Hi.
Renee, my comment is you deserve everything you work for. You've got great wisdom and you're putting it to work, and many thanks for that.
I appreciate your acknowledgement. I sincerely moved. Thank you. I'm so delighted to have this opportunity to speak with you, because I've had many, occasions where we, let's say, connected. And I appreciated always your sincere, let's say, taking on of autonomy. And I just want to congratulate you on that aspect also, that you have really embraced. So the first question I want to have you address is, where or how were you stuck in your life before you joined autonomy?
Most people don't reach the level of being stuck that I was at. I had been ill for many, many years, and I degenerated to the point where it just took a lot of effort on my part to get going, my eyes, but my heart, and all of these things. So I started working on these things, and I was aware of Richard Grove, and I was aware of autonomy and the University of Reason, but I had to make a decision that was I capable of following through and following through with autonomy. And I did make that decision. I've never been more happy, but my health has improved an enormous amount. So I can honestly say, and it's not entirely because of autonomy, it's because I keep showing up for myself. I'm constantly showing up for myself, and autonomy has strengthened that for me. So I was in a very, very bad place, both physically and mentally. And my wife and I talked about it and decided to join Autonomy. And well, I'll go on to tell you how much benefit I've received from Autonomy, but it was one of the best decisions. No, not one of, it was probably the best decision in my life that to get this teaching that Richard provides. Renee, I believe you're mute right now. I've lost your audio.
Oh, there we go. I just, yeah. When I mute, because I want to not interrupt you with any sounds from here, it's the clicking back and forth that seems to be a little bit of a problem. So we'll just work with it. But thank you for your patience. At any rate, I do remember when you first entered and you just seemed so committed to improving your lot in life. And that is what's so impressive, because you have, the commitment, it has been huge. And I see the difference, your energy level, the way you look, the way you appear. It's quite amazing. And that you are noticing the difference in your health is remarkable. I know that you mentioned you're going to the gym regularly, more so than before, right?
Yes, I started prior to coming to Autonomy. I was trying to get myself in a more mobile situation, and it's only increased. My the time at the gym every day is just helping me out a lot, but probably more than that is my my mental game. So the physicality, my physicality and building muscle, but not only building muscle, just recovering from so many years of atrophy. But my mind also atrophied. And I know that people that were in season 12 could recognize some of the faux pas and things that were going on. And not only that, and you kind of alluded to this, when I came in kind of strong. It was a little bit because I was trying to prove myself to the Autonomy people. And what I learned was I didn't have to do any of that, because this is the best group I ever ran into. And you're one of the center parts of that, Renee. So at any rate, my mental game, in other words, neuroplasticity, has increased so much. My memory is returned, and so many things about myself. My vocabulary has returned, and I'm not where I was 20 years ago, but I may be better than I was 20 years ago.
Wow. That, Bill, is commendable. I'm a believer. What you don't use, you lose. Consequently, here in Autonomy, you get to explore and to develop as much as you're willing. And this is where, again, I commend you, because you have so totally embraced everything that Autonomy has to offer. And that is, yes, you've made commitments and changes in your diet, because we've talked about that, and exercise, lifestyle. So everything has worked in concert. And yeah, it's really remarkable. Can you
Renee?
talk a little bit more about your mental attitude, please?
Well, I've always been a curious sort. I grew up working class, but I've always been interested in ideas, so extremely so interested in ideas. And about 25 or 27 years ago, I started reading. Well, I've never really had an outlet for that reading, so I wasn't able to have anybody to discuss these topics with. And for me, the universe is my subject. So there's nothing in the universe that I don't feel compelled to study if I have an interest in it. And what I found is within the autonomy community, my classmates, but there are all the graduates that attend as well, all of them are interested in every aspect of the universe. And they all bring things to the table for me. And so I'm getting to consider things that never in my life would I have ever considered before. And what I'm getting is from their perspective. So I get a chance to see exactly how they view something. So I'm getting multiple perspectives, and that's added to what I already know, or I am a big note taker. So I'm constantly taking notes from my classmates so that I can go do that work myself. And you've done that for me as well. Renee, I want to talk about my diet for just a second, if you don't mind. And it may run afoul of you, but because you were a little bit skeptic of fasting, I've gained enough discipline that today is my ninth day of a fast. So, and I intend on going at least until tomorrow and possibly till Sunday, because I want my body back in the shape it was years ago. And I see it happening, and I see my mind. And naturally, when you fast, your mind benefits from that fast. And I know you gave me advice not to fast quite so long. And I'm sorry, but I just know what feels good to me. And again, ninth day, and I feel just fantastic. So anyway, I had to bring that up since you brought up diet.
No, I thank you, because everybody is different. Yes, I am a certified nutritionist, and I do take a lot of factors into the equation. Some people are just not able to fast because maybe they don't have enough reserves, and then there's a danger of sarcopenia. So this is a caution that I apply. Like I say, everyone is different. And obviously, we are masters of our own bodies, and we need to listen to what feels right. Obviously, you're thriving. And yes, my warning is not to deter you from from what you're sensing, but it's just like keep something in back of your mind, because it can cause muscle collapse. That's the only, like I say. But no, I appreciate you sharing, and you doing what feels right to you.
Let me just say, Renee, I'm having fun. I'm just having fun. When I go to the gym, I'm not kidding. I just had one of the best workouts I've ever had today and yesterday. And it's just, it's building.
And that's what counts. So there you go. Like I say, everybody is different, and your body, you're a man, your hormonal, there's, like I say, so many different factors. So please do what feels right to you. But what I do want to bring to the table is that obviously you have a dream of how you want to present yourself to the world, how you see yourself. And I'd like for you to please elaborate a bit on how autonomy supports you in bringing that dream that perhaps you had a little bit of difficulty pinpointing until now that you are here and you've met so many different people, that perhaps there's more of a clear synthesis as to what you want to bring into the world as an offering from Bill.
Well, I don't have a fear anymore. So I was, in those terms, kind of backwards and shy, going out into the community, but I no longer have that. I try to show up for myself every day, and I wish that I had a better way to put it, but autonomy has accelerated my ability to engage in the community. I'm a community guy. And the community that I am currently involved with is, well, I'm involved in a couple of different communities, but, and that's all because I have the ability to go and speak and uh, articulate ideas. But one of them is the elder community because I'd like to see people do what I've done. In other words, turn around your physicality so that you can actually enjoy life and get rid of the pain. But then I am a firm believer, and it's because of my own experience of redeveloping the neuroplasticity. You and I've talked about this, the neuroplasticity of your own mind, but you can't do it unless you show up for yourself. You've got to work at it, and so that's the thing that I'm trying to impress. And we'll see how that goes. But for right now, there's another community that I'm involved with, and fairly heavily so. But it's about trying to sell yourself and sell your ideas, not just in an ethical way, but in a moral way, so that people understand that you're coming from a place of truth. So that's what and I've gained a lot of this ability from autonomy. I think part of it was, if you want to know the truth, I think that I had so many of these skills prior to autonomy, but autonomy has opened me up to the point where I'm willing to step out into the community and do way more.
I appreciate that. I definitely understand what you're saying because I know the Bill who I met quite a while ago. You have a very generous spirit. and I saw that, I recognize that in you. And of course, it touches me to see the generosity and the sincerity of your being. And now you're just so much more articulate in your sharings. Maybe. And of course, that's going to make an impact in how you deliver to other people out of autonomy. So again, I congratulate you because this is, remarkable. I see the difference. I hear it. I feel it. So, and now you're becoming the shining example.
Thank you.
So let's see. So the fear of presenting to others is no longer a stumbling block. Is that what I heard?
That's right. I've got more self-confidence and self-awareness as well. So,
and so have you formulated, let's say, offers that you can make to others to bring them into your realm of thinking?
I'm not doing that. I'm right in the process of doing that. So when we talk about offers, mine right away are not going to be in order to derive an income. They're going to be in order to connect to people and help them out. But I know because of autonomy, the things that I've been taught in the sales portion of autonomy, that eventually it will work into a business or something that I will gain from, because ultimately, even though I am well, in my book, old, I want to provide a better. My wife and I have been together for 51 years, and I want to provide a better life for my wife. And we have a great life right now. But eventually I'd like to buy a place out in the country. And in order to do that, I've got to start putting my autonomy sales skills together, and I've got to really start thinking about myself. But I just really, my heart is I want to help people.
Yes, I realize that. And wouldn't it be wonderful because I, well, my career, and I know that a lot of people hold that in their hearts, that they want to be able to contribute and at the same time earn an income from something they love. I mean, isn't that the dream? It is for me. It was for me. And I'm very fortunate that I've lived it. So I say, yeah, hold on. Yeah, you're, you're sincere. Your sincerity can take you into other realms as an inspiration for others. It's never too late to start a lifestyle change.
Thank you, Renee. I really strongly believe that, I said earlier that I haven't felt this good in 20 years. And I do believe, by the way, the concept of reducing your age. And so I've pretty much done that. I just haven't figured out a way to measure it. But by all of my own personal measures, I've begun that process. And again, I'd like to share it with other people. So.
Good. Well, oftentimes as you transform, people want to know how you did it. So I say, hang in there, keep working on it. But please share with us how you perceive the autonomy community.
Well, they are, how would you say it, inquisitive bunch in a similar way to myself, in that they focus on their own ideas. And while their ideas may be different than mine, their willingness to contribute and help me when I might reach a roadblock. There's been many times where I've asked advice from the autonomy community, and they're always there. So you're a good example of it. I hate to keep bringing that up. It is true, Renee. So throughout the autonomy community, the way I would describe it is a benevolent, mostly stoic society that are willing to listen and are extremely helpful. If you ask any one of them, you will get feedback, and they will schedule a integration exercise for you to discuss these things. And that is it. It's one of the funnest things you can have in your life, to have a large group of intelligent people that are morally centered, so that they are always focused on your best interest, to come and try to help you solve your problems. But beyond that, the classes offered at Autonomy are filled with these people. And so when you enter the classes or the masterminds, do it live or on center stage, these are upper level thinkers. And I don't like to separate people, because anybody can be that upper level thinker. They just have to put their best foot forward and be there for themselves. But autonomy is packed full of them with they're driven by their conscience. They're driven by their inner motivations, and it's all good. So
Yes, that's what drew me also. The generosity of people wanting to share so many things, personal. It's quite remarkable, and this is where, well, for me, I can't do enough, to share and to meet people and to, yeah, it's what can I offer? What can I offer? And I sense that from others.
Left out a piece here, and I brought it up when I said stoic, but my experience in autonomy is there is a lack of ego. So in common society, you run into people that are driven by what they know and how they can impress other people. And laying underneath of that is their own personal ego, which every one of us has to try to deal with. But I literally haven't run into anybody in autonomy that operates on their own ego. That's why I use the word stoic. They are listeners and thoughtful. And then when the time is right, they comment. So anyway, I think that's an important part of autonomy because it almost doesn't exist out in the regular world. People have forgot what it is to be humble. So
That's such an important point. And that is one of the teachings that's part of my programs. It's about humility. It really is important to learn humility because the universe will teach you, in certain terms, to be humble. It will like give you a slap and set you on your butt sooner or later. And it's a lesson that needs to be learned. So the sooner that we learn humility, the better off we are. So I appreciate that you said that. And what I wanted to also ask, but you've had a lot of, let's say, interaction with Richard, have you not?
oh yeah, I've had a lot of interactions with Richard.
What was that like?
Well, in a lot of ways, Richard and I are similar. But I started out without an education, and I certainly didn't start out with the kind of background that he did. I didn't have to defend myself from such a young age. But the difference is his analysis. His analysis is, I've never run into anybody that has his analysis, nor his patience, because I've listened to him. I've listened to him receive questions, and they may be off topic or they may be, like I'm doing right now, long-winded, but he has more patience than anybody I've ever run into. And he pays so close attention that he will break down whatever it is that you have asked a question about, and he will explain it in a way that is above all of your expectations. You just have no idea how deep Richard goes until you actually get to experience that. And you're correct, Renee. I've experienced that repeatedly because from the first day I said, I'm going to be involved, even though my questions weren't all that good. I just wanted to be, I had to have my, I had to be satisfied in that way. And so I think I was one of them that was asking probably questions that shouldn't be asked, or not shouldn't be asked, but he's so patient with me. He just said, this is what you need to consider. And by the way, he's given me tons of how to make an offer out into society. And these are all great ideas because he identified and remembered, if you can believe it, he remembered my skill set. And he says, Bill, you have a value here to offer out into society, and this may be the way you can do it. So he can do that too. And he has done that for me repeatedly. So anyway, that's my impression of Richard.
All right. So it's been on a personal level as far as your, let's say, personal development, correct?
Yes.
Also, it seems to me that when you said his analysis, are you referring to the overall platform of the history that, he is so perfectly aware of as far as what is going on in our world? How did that fit in with your, let's say, with your beliefs before you came into autonomy?
Well, as luck would have it, I started listening to Richard at least 10 years ago. And I've listened to his philosophical things, so I knew how deep he was. But it's an honor to be exposed to all of those things and then find out how he's far deeper in his analysis than I ever believed. Because the truth is, he and I had studied a lot of the same topics, the trivium and John Taylor Gatto, Charlotte Thompson Iserby, a whole bunch of different areas where we cross over paths. But Richard had done so much more investigating of these topics, and then he's just more capable of putting together and teaching it. Now, I want to go on just a second to the teaching, because autonomy, and it's an amazing thing to me that from the very first week of season 12, Richard started out as a teacher where we were at, understanding the level that we were at so that he didn't overrun us with information. And so it's as though the introductory few weeks of autonomy, while they're very useful, they're a buildup to the fire hose, where when the information starts coming in faster than you can deal with it, you've had several weeks of buildup to that point where you can adapt and you put yourself, you put yourself in that seat. And that's what I did. So every single week, it was like another challenge. But he started out soft. He started out with, it's not that it wasn't challenging. I'm just saying that he respects the student. And he had respect for me, and I appreciate that.
I hear what you're saying. I understand perfectly. And I remember asking some questions when I first entered, and he did not hesitate, even though I know that he was uncomfortable answering, a couple of questions. So I do relate to what you're saying. The level. So in other words, what I'm saying is that you were not new to the philosophy. You had a sense of what was going on in our world, and what Richard taught you or what you've learned has confirmed. Is that what I heard? Essentially,
it is what you heard. See, each one of us comes at it from a different perspective and a level of depth. And so it isn't only Richard that this way, but the level of depth it's more than you can imagine. And I found that amongst the autonomy community, and a lot of it is because they've been around Richard for a long time, but they came in there with their own ideas, and gosh, that's a thrill. If you're an ideas person like I am, if you care about morality and you care about doing right, then these things just feed you. It's like you're being fed in a very unique way.
I know what you're saying, because that's what drew me in. Ultimately, you see, everything that I heard from autonomy was all familiar to me. And yet to find the platform and to find the community where you can have open conversations, that was really important to me. Because yes, it's like you and we connected. We're friends, as is everybody in the community, because we have a common bond, a common knowledge, and we want to preserve our morality, principle, and liberty above all else. And this is, it's heartfelt. It's, it's not anything that we're going to find just any.
I said it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. it's like a cap to a great life. So, and I got a lifetime membership.
Isn't that great? So we're here for a long time, Bill.
Amen.
Yeah. And so at this point, I would like to invite others to participate and comments. And Bill, if you're open, to have others ask questions. It's a wonderful opportunity, and I really appreciate being able to be here with you and invite others. Like I say, we are an open community, and if you're willing, we will let others ask questions that maybe I've neglected
Of course.
regarding autonomy or whatever else. So please, everyone, just unmute when you're ready to have to ask Bill a question.
Well, I'd like to just begin and hop in by just saying that it's really, really an inspiration to see some of the older folks being comfortable with coming into a place like autonomy and really thriving. And like I've seen such growth from the both of you, like sitting in the back watching on, kind of fly on the wall status almost. And it just really just fills my heart with so much like joy and just, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I just wanted to jump in and just say that.
James, do you mind if I comment on that?
Please, Bill, take it away.
When I was a very young man, and I'm talking about in my early teens, I hung around older people. And it was because they had ideas that I didn't ever have. And they always seemed to take a moral position so that in a way I could copy them so that I could learn why they felt the way they did. But now I am one of them older people. And it's nice to hear what you have to say. And I encourage other people to gain access to older people so that, some people have gone astray and they're not on point. But look for people who are based in their own, not morality. It's deeper than that morality, but ethics. And my goal has always been to become a better man every day. And I sought out people that you could tell that their values pointed in that direction. So all I'm trying to say is I appreciate what you said, but I encourage more young people to exercise that and take advantage of old people, especially in autonomy, because there's so much wisdom here. It floors me. So
So there is actually a question. Was there a moment in your time as a student in autonomy where things just like clicked? Like, oh my God, there's that missing piece. Was there a moment like that? Could you describe that?
well, I've never been a writer, and I actually never understood any of the functions of writing because I was really horrible in English class, and I didn't take any type of writing classes. But Darren Reed's class, when he was laying out, I even bought the series, telling story tactics, in order to learn how to tell stories and write. So yeah, there were the participation in that class with Darren were just uh, they were unparalleled. And a lot of it is philosophical. A lot of it was literary because there were some people in that class that were literary, and and while I've read a lot of books, almost all of the books I've read are nonfiction, and so these people came from a fictional storytelling point, and that was one of the highlights of my entire autonomy experience.
Excellent. Excellent. What was your, I would say, maybe favorite lecture? Like, what part of the lecture series was it? Did it become apparent to you that, like, I know you mentioned the first three lectures, but at which point were you really just impacted so greatly? You just had to admit, like, here I am. This is the place. Like, holy crap, I can't believe it.
Well, excuse me if I can't describe the lecture, because I do have memory problems, and but I remember after I left lecture number 9 that I was just bowled over. And when we had the Q&A on Sunday, I had to go talk to Richard about it because it was so profound, the lecture. And the fact of the matter is, my mind doesn't work well enough that I can recall all the details of that lecture. But when I got done listening to lecture number 9, it was profound for me. And I know a lot of people won't understand it, but when you get to be 69 years old and you've had so many lapses throughout your life and you're trying to build yourself back, you will understand that I can't remember the details of that lecture, but I told Richard, and I still am going to do it. I'm going to go back through every lecture and listen to them again, but I'll probably start out with lecture number 9.
Excellent. Now that you're on the other side, though, that you're a graduate, like, is there anything in specific that you're looking forward to diving into in the University of Reason Library?
Well, yeah, of course there is. The hottest topic on my list is Barry Vernon's Unified Knowledge Ontology. And since I was so busy with autonomy throughout the year, I wasn't able to take his class. And it is probably the most important class in autonomy to me. And so I will be going back and viewing the replays. That's the other thing that's wonderful about autonomy. When there's an activity or an event, you can go back and watch the replays. And so I just talked to Barry on the phone the other day, or on Zoom, I'm sorry, but, and said, it's time for me to go all the way through because I can now. And so I will be going through that all the way up into season 13 and then through season 13. Looking forward to every bit of it.
I'd like to remind everybody that if they have any questions for Bill, then feel free to ask. If you're feeling a little shy, we were all once in your spot, and you're in good company to ask a question. Heck, you could even type it into the chat, and I'll ask it for you. While we're waiting on that,
I'll hop in if that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, Amy. Yes,
Hi.
please.
Yeah, I was actually in season 10, but I don't know if you would consider me a graduate because I had to drop off around weeks 5 or 6 because I had a baby. So I've kind of been MIA from autonomy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've been MIA from autonomy since then, but I did rewatch all of them, and I was curious too if you guys found this helpful. The sales section, those exercises looked like really inspiring to me and exactly what I need. And I was wondering if he felt the same way. And when he went through that, did you participate in those sales exercises a lot around week 7, I believe it is, or so?
Yes, I did.
And did you find that really helpful?
Well, I've always had a negative opinion of salespeople because of, all of the experience we've had with them. But I didn't realize that you first off are selling yourself. And then I didn't realize that you're actually, in a moral sense, a problem solver. And you're not going to take advantage of a prospect or a customer because you want the outcome for them to be exactly what you said or better. So these are things I had no awareness of. So I also took advantage of the sales exercises, and I found that all fit right into my own ability. But it's way better when you come at sales from a ethical standpoint so that you are helping people. And once you're helping people, then there's no anxiety, there's nothing. And I've never been a salesperson, but I've experienced lots of them, and I've never been fond of that trade. And today I can say, well, there are good sales techniques because of autonomy, and then there's bad ones that take advantage of people. So that's my takeaway from the sales. It's way deeper than that. I think there's things that I just learned there that I will never forget, but I can't recite them right off the top of my head.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I appreciate your story as well too. Just from beginning to end, your journey is inspiring, I must say. So thanks for sharing all of that.
Wow. Is that your baby?
That's him. Come here, bub.
Oh,
Ah.
That's great.
Thanks. Oh, you know what? I have a general question too. I had to step away from the recording of State of Mind earlier, and I don't know if James could answer this or anyone. Is there going to be a recording that we can reference back to and rewatch it later?
The meeting was recorded, and
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that there'll be like a replay available in your account.
Right on. Cool. Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Actually, Amy, sorry, Bill, but Amy brought up something really interesting that I would like to, I'd actually like to have her share her opinion of, because she mentioned that she joined in season 10 and had to step away. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people really realize about autonomy. So, Amy, how do you feel about having that lifetime membership and being able to, when a life event happens, being able to step back and then take on the course again at a future date?
Oh, yeah, it's been hugely helpful. I had already been looking into autonomy for about a year before I actually joined. And being pregnant and joining was kind of scary, but I just figured it's just worth it to join, and might as well just get the ball rolling. And then if something becomes of it, great, but if not, at least I'll have that skill set like brewing in the back of my mind. And it's been hugely helpful. I tried to join again I think it was last spring, and it was just too soon, and we were moving and just all kinds of craziness happened. And then last fall, I was sick. So it just, things kept coming up, and not to keep doling out excuse after excuse, but life does happen. And it has been really, really nice to keep getting emails like for the screening today too. I was really looking forward to this, and it's like, okay. And then I didn't even realize that the quest was right after the screening, and that now it's just kind of inspired me to be like, okay, it's time to like get this ball rolling again. So the lifetime membership is absolutely worth it, and definitely beneficial. I think especially for a working mom like myself, but I think really just for anyone.
Excellent, Amy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I look forward to seeing you guys again more.
Likewise. Okay, so anyone else have any questions for Bill?
I got a few questions, James.
Jerry.
Thank you for your great questions. Yeah, what an evening. What an evening of events. So, Bill, I have one question, a personal question, and then I have another question which can sort of help all of us understand better your journey in autonomy. So my first question is, do you do yoga?
well, as a matter of fact, I do. I think the fellow's name was Brian Witz, that's up in Pocatello, Idaho, that turned me on to the prospect of doing yoga. So I've integrated that into my workouts every single day. And I challenge myself every day. You got to understand, I'm 69 years old and I haven't bent these ways. So I just haven't ever done it. And now I'm committed to it. And I even bought the book that everybody in the autonomy community recommends. Several people. It's interesting how many people understand yoga. And so I bought that book. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know how you picked up on the fact that I do yoga, but I'm it's a part of my workout. And it's become an increasing a part of my workout for about the last 3 months.
Yeah, maybe you've said it before and I just sort of knew somehow, but thanks for answering that. And then my second question is, you mentioned the autonomy masterminds. So how was your experience with that?
It was outstanding. So Wesley was my coordinator for the mastermind, and he brought our ideas out, and he kept us on track. So I was one that wasn't willing to volunteer for my upcoming mastermind, and then he would just prompt me in such a polite way, and so I was able to lay a lot of things that were really important to me on the table during my mastermind. And then we went around the room and I got suggestions, and they were all good suggestions. But then getting a chance to have all your classmates do that very same thing and experience what they've got going on in their life, what is their project. I don't know, it's invaluable. So yeah, my mastermind, when I chose Leslie, the day that the ideas of the masterminds were introduced, I've never regretted that. I have to admit, and this is a sad thing to say, but because my memory is still bad and I've been working myself out so hard, I missed my last two masterminds. And so I owe those, owe my classmates. I just had a memory lapse and I missed out on two of the masterminds, and those were important to me. So at any rate, mastermind it's good. It does exactly what Richard intended for it to do.
Great interview, Bill.
Thank you, Jerry.
Hey, Bill, what did you think about what did you think about like Richard's stamina through like the Q&A sessions? Because I've been in some of those, and man, there's a lot of people asking questions. What did you think of that?
Well, okay, I used to have stamina, and so I admire it when I see it. And his stamina was, phenomenal. You don't get to see people that have, and not only that, his composure and his patience, all the way to the very end. So he may have been answering questions for hours and hours, and he still uh, was polite and thoughtful. And when I say thoughtful, I mean digging down deep into the ideas. Now, the reason I bring myself up is I used to have stamina. And since you brought it up, that's what I'm in pursuit of. I want stamina so that I can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning like I normally do and be up and active and thoughtful at 11 o'clock at night. It's my life. It's the way my life always did run. And I want Richard's stamina. So he's a good example for that.
All right. Yeah, I would agree with everything that you just said. That's exactly what I was thinking myself.
Hey, I have a question. Bill, are you going to be joining season 13?
Yes, I will. I'm going to do it based on Barry Vernon's uh, ontology. I want that more than I want anything else. So yes, I will be involved in season 13 all the way through. But my number one goal is to understand the unified knowledge ontology.
You know what? And I want to point out too, some of the things that you're talking about are autonomy programs, and other programs are the students coming up with their own ideas, their own events, and they're using autonomy as the incubator to craft and hone their offers. So I think it's incredible. And pretty soon, I'm sure we'll be watching something that you've created as you continue to grow and learn and create.
And to follow on to that, I want to say, Bill, congratulations on your fast. I was really surprised to hear that from you. And I thought, I don't know much about fasting, and I don't teach this in the course. And yeah, I think 9 days is probably enough, bro, because you don't have to do it all at once, you know? And Rome wasn't built in a day. So if you want to break your fast tomorrow and have some break fast, you know, the old fashioned style, breaking a fast, that's cool. Because I want to see you around in season 13. However, that all being said, so impressive. Your workout schedule, your mental acuity, your words per second have increased since you joined the course because you're bringing your thoughts more readily to other people. This was a magnificent interview. Renee did her usual impeccable job, and you know, I'm just very impressed with you in a variety of ways. And earlier when you were thinking about how well read you are, it was also all the works of Harry Binswanger, Leonard Peikoff, and Ayn Rand, and libertarian philosophy, and there's a whole bunch of other books that you forgot to mention. So yes, we've talked extensively, and you've grown immensely. And yeah, thank you for doing this interview tonight.
Richard, let me just say that it's my confidence that has grown. So autonomy has given me a new level of confidence and self-esteem that I've never had. And I mean, going back to when I was in my early teens. So I never gained any of that confidence or self-esteem. And so autonomy has kind of filled that void and made me realize that I am capable of a lot more than I ever have been. So, and I appreciate you for that.
Confidence and courage, like fear, are contagious, and people take note when they see it in their environment, and they learn to do likewise for themselves. So you're a leader now.
No. Thank you.
All right. Well, before we move to wrap it up, I would like to extend the offer to ask Bill a question yet again.
I'm wondering if there's anybody considering joining season 13 who has a question.
Hey, if you don't have a question, how about the like usual doubts in our minds when we're buying stuff? Like, is this too good to be true? Are we going to get ripped off? What's different than the box says is inside? Right? We can get those questions out of the way.
And thank you, Richard, for being here. And the questions that I sense that perhaps some people are considering is, you know, what is the hesitancy? What is the block from joining? And I know for myself, you know, when I hesitated, yes, the part of, is it too good to be true? Is it really this good? Are the people really this generous? And yes, I can vouch for that. The people are really generous and very understanding, let's say. And yes, Bill commented on your patience, Richard, and I do honor that also. Yes, you're very patient with one and all, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
You are most welcome.
If no one else has questions, I know that we had certain gifts and offers for those in attendance. I think there's some, let's say, Shadow Host assets, promotional graphics. Let's see. I know James.
Yep, I'm on that right now, Renee. Thank you for prompting me to do that. And in the chat, we have a link for the Autonomy Primer and the Autonomy Discovery Call. And the primer is pretty cool. That's something new this year. And it's a detailed explanation of the autonomy course of action that's taught by Richard. And in the primer, we cover all the details that you need to know to make an informed decision and find out if autonomy is right for you. And once you've made a decision, then you can book your discovery call with an autonomy graduate. That can be about maybe 15 minutes or more, where you get to talk to a graduate and further pursue whether or not this is going to be right for you. And it's only a one-time thing, the discovery call, and then the process continues from there. We have the 19 essential skills for life, and all these links are in the chat. As I'm talking about them, I'm dropping them in the chat. And then we have the mindset lecture series that Richard has done over the course of the past few years. And all of those are now available for every participant that is still here. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. Thank you, Renee, for being such a wonderful host tonight.
Oh, thank you. It was a privilege. My joy to be with people. The community is always it's always wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity. Enjoyed it totally. Good to connect with Bill and everyone else.
Yeah, Bill, talk about a home run. Thank you so much, Bill Soul, for being the interviewee this evening. And thank everybody else for participating. And so next week, we'll be doing it again. Show up for the screening, same time, same place. And we'll see you then.